When you think of Tennessee, what comes to mind? The birthplace of country music? A landscape dotted with lakes and towering mountains? One of its oldest traditions, moonshine. The distilling of alcohol has existed in the United States since its very beginning, and Tennessee was at its core. The people of the area were able to make a living, as Steve Cottom, manager of the historical collections at the East Tennessee Historical Society, explains.
It was a way to make money in rural East Tennessee in the early 1900s was fairly poor. A lot of people were struggling as far as making a living, and if all of a sudden it's like really like, I guess, drugs today. I mean, you could suddenly make a lot more money by doing moonshine, and it certainly drew people to it.
Because there were federal laws against illegally distilling alcohol, those who were caught were sentenced and most likely served jail time. Danette Welch, a librarian at the East Tennessee Historical Society, describes what happened to moonshiners who were arrested by the authorities.
If you were convicted in the federal court here at Knoxville or in Greenville, which was the next closest federal court, the most likely place for you to go to prison would be the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. And there they had so many people from East Tennessee convicted of liquor-related crimes, which were, relatively nonviolent, usually small time, 11 months, 29 days crimes, that they put them all basically in the same area. They called it the Tennessee Colony.
The tradition of brewing moonshine in East Tennessee continues today in two local distilleries, Old Smoky Tennessee Moonshine, located in Pigeon Forge, and the East Tennessee Distillery in Piney Flats. The ability to make moonshine legally in the state was made possible in 2009 when the state passed a law allowing the production and sale of moonshine. Neil Robertson, one of the owners of the Piney Flats Distillery, describes the law change.
Whenever you have one part of government giving its budget just handed to them, and now they have to work for a living, they're going to start relaxing the law so they can get more money. I mean, it's just, the supply and demand, so. And then once that happened, then the state started saying to us, hey, alcohol is a great source of taxation because you're going to have it. You can't stop it. In fact, if you try to put the brakes on alcohol now through some form of prohibition, you're just setting yourself up for a huge backlash of a great proportion. So Tennessee finally said, hey, instead of keeping with these draconian prohibition laws, let's change. Let's allow businesses, which are really true American businesses, to come back and thrive. So.
The process of making moonshine takes over 3 weeks, and specific steps are taken to make the signature flavor come to be known with Tennessee alcohol.
Well, first of all, we have to have mash. So we take our sugar, corn, mix it with water, and then put the yeast in it. The yeast takes anywhere from 7 days to 20 days, depending on temperature and things like that. In the wintertime, it slows down, and in the summer, it's faster. So once it's fermented out, we take it and then we start putting it in the still. The still only holds about 50 gallons, so we ferment out in 55-gallon drums over there. So one run of the still. And it takes about, about 6 to 8 hours to run that batch. And then once you run the batch, you take the proof of the alcohol and you put it in storage. As you bottle, then you take the alcohol out and you proof it down to get your desired proof, which we proof our white liquor at 100 proof. So we add enough filtered water to it to get it down to 100 proof. And once it's 100 proof, then we bottle it.
The final product is well known both in the area and around the country as top quality moonshine. But what is it that draws people to the moonshine from this area? Robertson explains.
Because this is where people came, this is where it started. Whenever you get the word moonshine, people, or do you go to visit Tennessee, can you bring us moonshine? This is the heart of moonshine country. I mean, you could probably go on any corner or back road and you can meet somebody and get it. Legally, of course, but you can get it. So, and it's just what people come to know and expect. Kentucky's noted for its bourbons. We're noted for whiskey, and moonshine is really just white whiskey.